June 25th, 2026, we're going to go over some interesting situations unfolding. And first of all, in the market, we know, before today even started, we knew that our momentum is currently going down. We're currently experiencing selling bias. Okay, we've known this for 48 hours, for 2 market days. And we know that the volume is holding steady. It's not decreasing. Okay, our volume's not going down or anything. It's just holding and or building. So that's how you know that things are getting serious. Anytime there's an increase in volume, that means people are telling the truth. That means you can trust what you're seeing more. So we're going to get into some trades that occurred today that I took in NQ. And first of all, let's start at market open. We're going to be using a 2-minute chart. And we're just going to stay on a 2-minute chart for our execution. And then we have our 5-minute momentum right here on the middle part here, and then we've got our 15-minute momentum over here, then we've got our 1-hour momentum, and then our daily momentum. It's important to align momentums. That's how you change the asymmetric distribution of probabilities in your favor. If you've got multiple time frames all doing the same thing in terms of momentum, what do you think is the probability of a smaller time frame manifesting that momentum? Do you think it's more than 50-50? Do you think it is 50? What do you think about that? And when we look at this open, we know that we've got a downward bias. We see the 5-minute building, we see the 15 in the red, we see this 1 hour flipping to red, we know the daily. So right at the market open, we know that things are serious, okay? Now I want you to look at the volume as this unfolds. Look at the volume building. My favorite volume confluence is a volume bar greater than the previous 3, which that happens here. That would have been a good short entry. But notice we're coming close to what? We're coming close to the previous day's high. This is the previous day's high right here, this red dashed line. So the previous day's high has a lot of orders sitting around it, orders just waiting to be initiated. And we pushed right through that, like there's no resistance. So what does that tell you? As if it was a story, if that was a story, what would that story be telling you? And then finally we get down here and we get our first entry in terms of my strategy, which is we want a realignment confluence. So we want it to be like selling off and then realign to the downside. That's what we want. And as soon as it aligns, we enter. So we didn't have any pullback until this. See, this is the only histogram bar where it pulls back. This is expanding, one pullback, and then a realignment. So that's the entry right there. That was the first alignment channel that occurred today, which happened at 8:52. After this, we reached some low. And did we reach any important? Well, look, what is this? What is this? This is the previous day's low. So there was a lot of orders sitting there that immediately reversed course. Look at that strong green buying. So what does that tell you in terms of a story? If that was a story, is that letting you know anything? Is that giving you any clues? And then this blue line, by the way, is the pre-market low. Not the previous day's low, but just the pre-market low. So anyway, we come back to this 15-minute region here. This is the 15-minute opening range. These two gray rectangles. It's the opening range on a 15-minute. And we come to this opening range and we reject off it with a fat red selling candle. Come back again, reject off of it again. And now we're getting wedged between this 15-minute opening range and we're bouncing between the pre-market low. Come back up, test it again. Look at this, another test. And then we come back. Do you see how many times it's playing with this 15-minute opening range? There's no more alignments at this time. We're just playing through the price action for now. The only alignment that's going to occur for the rest of the day doesn't exist, because to have a full alignment, you need the 15 to be in the red with the 1 hour. Notice how the 1 hour is in the red for the rest of the day. So the only true setup that occurred today was this one. Okay, that was it. There was one setup that occurred today. And was it a win? Yes, it was a win. However, we're going to go over some other setups that I did take and why I took them. and we're getting into that now. So we've gone past this opening range yet again for the 19th time. Always good to pay attention to that kind of stuff. And then we sell off, and we consolidate. We're experiencing a big consolidation here. You can see it's just forming, and we're within this upward channel from this rejection, but we're just consolidating right here around this 15-minute range. Isn't that funny how this 15-minute range plays with our price action the rest of the day? And look where it's right now. Look at this. I mean, it's just crazy how this happens sometimes. And what does that mean? It means that there's a lot of people that want to buy or sell in this range. It's a lot of indecision. That's what that means. There's a lot of orders going on. Otherwise, we would be going in some direction. But anyway, we're going to go over the next setups that occurred today. They occurred after all of that price action unfolds. We see that our 15-minute is now in the green and expanding. Okay, it's not just in the green, it's expanding. We see, that means the buyers are in control. We see that the 5-minute momentum expanding. So that means that if we can find a realignment on our 2-minute execution or our 1-minute execution time frame, then we're probably going to have a good chance at making some money, right? So that happens right here. Selling off, realignment. Would that have been a win or a loss? That would have been a loss right there. Look at this candle right below, right before. It didn't necessarily beat it out, but it was even. It was even, it was holding momentum. You know that you've got an alignment going on. The candle itself breaks above the previous two. It's green. That would have been a win, right? So if you were a little bit proactive, reading the MACD that way instead of mandatory has to be above. No, if it holds, it means the momentum is holding. The probabilities are in your favor still from that very point. The next one occurred right here. That was a win. You enter here, you'll get a 1-to-1 with that candle structure with the next candle. The next one happened here. See the realignments are occurring. That's every entry. Going against, fighting against, boom, realigns. This was not a good one though, because by this time the 5-minute had sold off too much. See how the 5-minute has lost energy? We want the 5-minute to be expanding, not contracting. And that does occur right here. 5-minute is now expanding with us at this time. Before this happens, what happens? What is this? Selling off, realignment to the upside. So those were other opportunities that occurred today that I did take. And was there any other situation today that would have led to an alignment between the 15 to 5 in the execution time frame? No, that didn't happen the rest of the day. It started to unfold literally at the last minute of the market. So that was all of the setups today, and that was the price action today, and how these critical levels play with the price action and how it all unfolds. And see you in the next one.